Ragni says this battle system feels very Final Fantasy X. This battle system is Final Fantasy X.
It is.
It is literally that.
All right, so which of these people are Legolas, or none of them?
None of them yet.
Okay. Do we figure out who Berthor is yet?
He's supposed to be Boromir.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Idril is
Ned
Arwen.
Stark, right?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. Ned Stark.
This is Liv Tyler, Idril.
Yes.
And this is who's this guy?
Viggo Mortensen.
Okay. I don't know what else.
So wait, let's Dylan. I'm not going to let you escape from this line of.
Well, where do you want me to start in related to Scientology? Like,
what's your Scientology story?
All right,
I know
so
you have one apparently.
Many years ago. This is probably not that long after I moved to Albuquerque. It's probably around 2005 or 2006.
Sure. This is before you and I even had ever spoken with each other.
This is, and it involves someone you know, Mark. He went with me to the Scientology.
Figures.
Yeah. So there was a Scientology church in Albuquerque, and it's real big actually. And I was always.
God, the way that you're spinning the camera around is fucking killing me right now.
Sorry.
Sorry, it's okay. I just
I don't know where I'm supposed to go. Perfect mode. Doing damage to enemies will fill your party's momentum meter over the time. Your party enters perfect mode. Oh, so it's like a final summon kind of thing. Looks like Winter's Age, basically. So the Scientology church in Albuquerque is very big, and we always would drive past it because it was near my house. So I figured, well, I heard a lot about Scientology and how it's pretty awful, but I want to see what the fuck goes on in there.
Oh no.
Sure.
So,
that's how they get a lot of people, I think.
Yeah, I think so. So we went to the Scientology church. We went inside, and basically like, what? I went in there like an idiot. I was like, I've read a lot about Scientology, but like, I kind of want to know more. And the dude was like, honestly, like really kind of blown away that I'd read about Scientology yet was still interested in it.
Sure. Yeah.
So he's like,
okay. Let me ask one question before you continue. Were you stoned?
Yes, of course.
Okay, sure. All right.
I mean, yeah. It was 2005. I don't think I was ever not stoned that like whole year.
Yeah, that was the whole year. Okay.
So we're at the we're there. I ask him, what is Scientology? And the guy goes on like a whole thing. He's like, well, you probably heard about us from Tom Cruise. And he like looks at me, like he like pauses there, like I'm supposed to be like, oh, Tom Cruise. So of course I said, oh, Tom Cruise.
Sure. You did exactly what he wanted.
Yeah, why wouldn't I? So we go, and he says, well, Tom Cruise is a pretty famous Scientologist, and he's one of our greatest ambassadors. And this was, I was trying to think, like, this was around the time that, I want to say it was around the time that video had come out of him, like, acting completely ridiculous.
Sure, yeah.
Like couch jumping?
Yeah, doing all that
like
stuff.
Oprah thing?
It was either Oprah time or it was like where they had the leaked Scientology video where he was like talking, I don't know. Anyway, so he talks about, he's like, well, Tom Cruise, a famous Scientologist, and Scientologists were there at 9/11.
What?
Yeah, he's like,
Wait.
some of the...
What? Was he telling you that Scientology...
No, after 9/11. So he's like, well, Scientologists were one of the biggest charities to help out after 9/11.
I thought you were saying that he was like
Scientology.
That Scientologists did 9/11,
like the 4chan meme. Scientology did 9/11. No, I don't think so.
Crocbog says he's pretty famous. I don't know. You may have heard of him.
I said, well, that's really interesting. I kind of want to see what's going on, And he said, well, it's perfect because I happen to have a video here for you. Like, I don't know, just the way he said it was real bizarre. Like, he didn't show this video to every motherfucker that came through the door. He's like, I happen to have a video here, so if you'd like, I could show it to you.
I mean, you're special.
Yeah.
He's doing it for you because you're special. He wouldn't show this to just anyone. But, it seems like you have potential. It seems like you're really interested.
So we watched like a 45-minute video. Like, this is already way longer than I want to be in on this. Like, I'm much less interested now. But I watched this video. It's got Tom Cruise, and it talks about how they helped out after 9. Like, it basically tells everything that he told me. Hey, look, it's the Hobbits. We found the Hobbits.
Yes, we did shelter here.
But they're gone already, I think. I think we just missed them. This is going to be a theme in this game, by the way.
This whole game is just, oh, we just missed them.
This thing is going to be the whole thing is like, Gandalf's like, oh, I see you were where we just were, but we kind of took off, so you should probably go the way we went if you want to find us.
We left 20 minutes ago. I mean...
The White Wizard held other plans.
So we watched the video. The video makes me hate myself. But it talks about how great Scientology is, and it talks about how all of the burdens of the world are not actually your fault and don't have anything to do with you. Like, like all your doubts, all your like bad feelings are actually the fault of psychologists.
Okay, yeah.
Mental health professionals are actually the people that are causing these problems, and they keep the problems going on in your mind by forcing you to take medicine made by evil people.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
That's like there's a guy there.
Yeah.
Can you fight that guy?
No, I don't think so.
Or talk to him or something?
I tried walking up and hitting all the buttons, but nothing happens. They're just like rock men. Yeah, like, I'll fight these guys. These guys suck.
Blood just says, this is like the off-brand cola version of Lord of the Rings.
So there's a whole thing about how psychologists are actually the ones causing the problems in people. And that
Rock
really
asks, when did the aliens come in reference to Scientology? I think that's at a different level.
That's
so like
that's a different OT. Okay.
Yeah, so part of what's weird about Scientology, or part of what's sketchy about it, is there are different levels, and the way that you reach those levels is by being involved for a certain amount of time, and also, of note, by paying a certain amount of money.
Well, you pay money to take classes.
Yeah, exactly. So when you get to a certain level, one of the things that they reveal to you is this whole thing with Thetans, invisible aliens, and
that's when
all
it
this
gets
shit.
We haven't gotten to that part yet. We're still at the part where psychology is bad.
Sure.
So we watch this movie, and then afterwards, of course, the guy Dean. His name was Dean.
Of course, it was Dean.
He said,
fucking Dean.
He's like, well, what'd you think? What'd you think of the movie? And I was like, well, it's very, very interesting stuff, Dean. Very interesting stuff.
Were you calling him by first name?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Me and Dean were close. All right. I don't fuck around when it comes to meeting Scientologists. Okay. Again, he was like super friendly this whole time. Like he's like I think he was just blown away that someone showed up. Really. But
he's waiting by the door all day.
Yeah. And so by this time, like Mark's like, I gotta go. Like he took off and I stayed.
What are you doing?
Because he said, like, I said, I heard about that you guys have like a device called an e-meter that measures stuff, and he's like, we do have that device. Would you like to see it? And of course, the answer is fucking A. I want to see the e-meter. So he says, well, I can give you a test of the e-meter, and we can see what kind of resistance levels are in your skin, and that's how you can measure what kind of help you might need from the church. So of course, like he goes right into the fucking pitch. So I do have to be pretty happy about that. So we go and we test the e-meter, and like I hold on. So in case people don't know what an e-meter is, it's like a little I don't know, like a little gauge that measures from like 1 to looked like around 100.
And you hold it?
No, you don't hold, like, there's a little gauge, and then coming off of the gauge are 2 wires. And the 2 wires connect to these little, like, hollow tubes. Like, imagine, like longer, like Red Bull cans with the bottom cut off. That's kind of what they're like. They're around that size.
Sure.
So you hold on to those, And then what happens is Dean looks at the meter and he tells you that you're going to need a lot of help.
It's always Dean. No matter which location you're at, the dude's always named Dean.
So, unsurprisingly, Dean told me that, you know, I seem to be handling it well, but really I had a lot of emotional issues. And
Sure.
You know what, Dean is...
I can confirm that.
For
to be
what it's
honest.
worth, Dean was fucking right. But... So he suggested, he's like, well, why don't we go, and what we'll do is you can take a test, and then we'll have you talk with someone, and then you can kind of, you know, we can work out like a plan for you. You know, for what the church can do for you. So, I go and take a test. And the test...
What was the test? Yeah.
So the test is like the stupidest bullshit. Like, have you ever felt uncomfortable?
Wait. Ever felt
Ever.
uncomfortable?
Ever.
That's a broad question.
Has anyone you've ever known made fun of you? Ever.
Wow.
Like, have you ever doubted yourself? And I felt like some of these questions I want to be like every fucking day, Dean. Every day.
I like the idea that in this test, I assume this is a written test?
It was a written test, yeah.
I like the idea that you would be in the written test still responding to Dean. Though.
Yeah, of course.
That's like putting Dean's name in there.
And it was real weird because it was like a...
And like Gwenna in the chat says, I am always comfortable.
Always. I've never been uncomfortable. But, and it was like a Scantron style test. Like I filled in bubbles on like a separate sheet. So I finished the test and I give it to Dean, and Dean just like looks at the Scantron card. And he's like, oh dear. I was like, you didn't even fucking put it through the little Scantron machine, which I know you don't have in the back.
You know Dean has that memorized, though.
Yeah, that's true. He knows what's up.
He thought when you just did the email.
Yeah,
It's
I was pretty honest on the test, so that could have been part of the problem. I gotta really learn not to do that.
He might have also just been responding to the fact that you just draw a giant wiener with the little bubbles.
God, I should have done that. I should have done that.
Matt Mitchell says, I wish you told Dean about all the terrible things that Stream Friends puts him through.
Stream Friends didn't exist then. But if it did, I would have gotten into the advanced class right away. Where the fuck am I supposed to go?
Weapon Boy says, whoa, this is a pretty cool Final Fantasy X total conversion mod.
Yeah. So they have...
I give EA credit. They put in some work reverse engineering Final Fantasy X
They
here.
really did. Oh, here we go. We go down here. So I do the test, and Dean's like, oh dear. And he says, well, it's okay. I have someone that I want you to talk to.
Okay.
And I said, well, you know, I'm pretty comfortable talking to you, Dean. I don't know if I want to talk to anybody else. And he's like, He's like, don't worry, it's okay. So I went to some other room in the church. So I guess I should kind of explain the church. So so the church...
Wait, Dean, are you gonna leave me like everyone else in my life?
Yeah, I should have said that. That'd have been perfect. But, so, I guess I should, like, you walk into the church, and the first thing I noticed is that they had some super nice carpet up in this church. Let me tell you, it was top tier carpet.
They got money. I mean, that's the thing, right? Is
Yeah.
like there's not a lot of Scientologists, but they're
Pretty rich.
They are particularly popular amongst Hollywood
Rich
and
idiots.
and generally very rich people.
So, wait a minute. Was I just here? Whatever. I'll go to this flashing red dot. That's probably useful. So you go into the church, and like the first thing you see is there's like a real nice fountain, and it's like the entry room, you know, and then people like greet you there. And then the very next room you go into is like a fucking giant bookstore. Like they just have books everywhere, and they have like books with like shades drawn in front of some of the shelves so you can't read the titles of them.
Oh yeah, is that stuff that's like this is closed off to unless you're a member of like a certain level?
I assume so. I didn't ask about that, but like, and then like you know off to the side there's like the movie viewing room, which is where we're in, which actually had like a really nice projector screen in it. And then I took the test in a different room, and then we go to a whole nother room where I talked to some lady, I wish I could remember her name, and I can't, just because like all I can think about is Dean.
Listen, you're not alone in that.
And so we're this lady. So she like starts off by like asking me the same questions as the test in like the same wording.
Name of the Lady of the Galadrim.
And so I answer it the same way I answered the test. And then she's like, "Well, I want you to tell me about
where did you get those wounds?
A bad memory that you have."
Whose life I intend to shorten considerably.
Okay.
And I was like, "What? What do you mean?" She's like, "Well, you must like remember something that happened in your life that made you upset.
Something of great value to me.
Why don't you tell me about it?"
Ranger?
And I was like,
I was in the company of a dwarf.
Why? Okay, so I did. I told her about the whole. I told her like a whole story about like how I had people in school that made fun of me, blah blah blah.
Find out.
Like in like middle school or something, and she's like, the whole time she's like, acting interested. She's like nodding and saying, like, tell me more about this, tell me more about that.
Help me return to Lothlorien
And then at the
warn
end,
Galadrim
she's
of
like,
these dangers.
why don't you tell me that
Then
story
we will
again?
all-
We should
It's,
find one of
like,
the enemy's altars.
I was like again, like the whole thing. She's like, yeah. Start at the beginning and tell me the whole thing over again. So I did. I told her the whole thing, like including. Oh, hold on, we got an epic scene, guys. It's much more important than Scientology.
Yeah, let's see this epic scene.
Spirit powers. Elf spirit powers remain bound in craft and hidden places.
Yes,
I don't know.
found a place where the ancient spirits
Gandalf says we found a place where the ancient spirits are.
and water
Much like the Thetans of Scientology lore,
will still be found.
we are where the spirits were.
Some beings glide through the
I think,
airs around
have you ever bound an elf in a secret hidden place is one of the Scientology security questions.
Yeah.
Stir the deep.
Ragni just says in all caps, "No, finish the story."
I'd finished the story. That was the crazy part. Was I finished the story, and then she was like, "Well, tell me the story again." So I told her the story, and this time I included all the stuff she had asked questions about. And I told her the whole story again, and she's like, "Okay, well, can you tell it to me one more time?"
Yet animate the living wood.
Like at this point, I'm like so confused. I just don't understand what's happening. I'm getting really upset, and she's just like,
Of this wisdom,
just tell it to me one more time.
this ancient force.
So I told her the whole story again, the whole thing.
Within their craft,
And she's like, I can't remember what she said. I have to remember the exact wording of what she said after that, because it really like,
a living gift that has endured through many ages.
what was it? It was something like,
Find it, and
in
use it
order to
wisely,
like fully
for it contains power beyond.
clear it from your mind, can you tell me the story one last time?
Richard Spear says, "How long were you there?" And I'm going to answer,
Like a long ass time.
"You were clearly there for at least a month."
Not quite. I was there for a
One
while. I was there for a while.
Still
Ragni
waiting for the paper.
says she actually had a very poor memory.
Yeah. So I told her the story again, the whole thing, and then at the end she's like, "Well, don't you feel better now?" And at this point, I'm just like, I was just completely blown away. Like that whole thing, like I was super confused, and like I just didn't understand what's going on. And I leave the room, and I go talk to Dean, and Dean tells me that I need to take a class for $150.
Please tell me that's when you bounce.
And I was like, well, I'll tell you what, let me go ahead and take this to my wife. And I think at this point I was like 19, something like that. Like really obviously 19 and like wearing like skateboarder shirts and like awesome Vans and like looking like a dude who was just getting into college, because I was. And I said, well, let me take it to my wife and I will get back to you.
Orion says, "Fuck you, Dean." So that, I mean, basically though, if you guys have seen, if anyone here has seen The Master, everything you described is exactly
Oh, yeah.
100% a scene out of that.
The story's not done yet, Phil.
Oh, good.
So I tell Dean essentially to go fuck off, and I, by saying I'll think about this, I'll be back, and I leave, and
Apathetic Blob says Dylan is streaming from inside the church. He's still there.
I'm here right now. Cracked elf soul. So like, I want to say it was like 2 weeks later, a week or two later, I'm getting home, and I have a letter in the mail from the Church of Scientology. I never gave him my fucking address.
Did you give them your real name though?
I don't remember. That's the thing. I don't remember a lot of what happened there. Like, it's really kind of like, it was really weird. The whole thing was really weird. Like, maybe I did. Maybe I did. I don't know. But I got a letter from Dean. A handwritten letter. In the year...
It wasn't for real?
Yeah. A handwritten letter in the year of our Lord 2005. Someone wrote a fucking letter.
Tell us, Ranger.
And
What does the letter say?
the letter said, "Dear
It was a
Dylan,"
bewitched fight.
which was spelled
Voices
right. Which, for
echoing
one, a
down
lot of
from
people
the
spell my
mountains.
name wrong, and so that makes me real upset.
Then lightning struck
But
all around
this
us.
Dean had it fucking
dwarf
right. Of
fought
course,
like one
of course
possessed.
Dean had it
Of
right.
course
Like,
he
he
knew
knows.
away.
So he said, "I just want to let you know that I was
Before he
really
fell,
glad
he
that
gave
you
me
came
a
to
map.
Church of Scientology."
Presented to him by
And I was
Elrond
really glad
of
he came and
Rivendell
talked with us.
as a gift of friendship.
But by not responding, I feel you are
I
making
cannot
a very
withstand
grave mistake.
The dark
Oh,
shadows that come out
He's
at
like,
night.
I feel that if you don't come back
While I lay
and
there
work
blind,
out your
Mordor orc
emotional issues,
ripped
it
the
could
map
lead
away
to
and
very
fled down
serious
the mountain.
problems for you. Signed, Dean.
And again,
That was it!
Another situation wherein Dean's not
It's
wrong.
terrible.
Secret
Dean was
entrance.
110% correct.
forgotten
Let me tell you.
realm.
Moria.
Chip 6 says Dean is really clingy.
The greatest city of the
But
dwarves.
just the way that he ended it was like, it's gonna be a fucking issue if you don't come back here.
These halls
Oh
are
my
rumored to still
God.
be stalked
So,
by a terrible
I threw the
monster.
letter away, and I know. And like, it was really weird because like a week after that, the church
If that
moved
map
across
leads
town.
us to Moria's hidden gate.
Like Dean was
I
that
expect we
distraught
shall
that he
find
just
out
he couldn't even
why.
look. He's like, every time he saw
To stop that dwarf.
came into that church, he's like, he's never coming back, and just left. So I haven't gone back to the new church yet, but I feel like I should. Like, I wonder if he'll
Do you think
remember me.
Dean's still there? Do you think he'd come on the show?
Maybe.
No.
God, I want Dean to come on the show so bad now.
Dude. Is that the end of the story?
That's the end of that is the end of the story. Is
Okay,
Dean threatening
now
me?
tell it to us again.
Okay.
Listen, what if you get a letter tomorrow that says, "I watched the stream"?
God, I wish. Like, I hope he just shows up to my house. I don't know. I've been having like weird experiences with church people recently, though. Because I had to get a landline recently, which I don't know. Like, you people probably don't have landlines because
Why did
you
you
live
get
in
a landline?
for
You're
work-
like a caveman.
for work stuff. For work stuff, I had to get one.
You're like a caveman.
Yeah. So, I got a landline, and this immediately opened me up to getting like a shitload of junk mail, which is real unfortunate. But also, every fucking church in the neighborhood sent someone by to be like, "Hey, we saw you just moved into the neighborhood. We want to welcome you to come to our church." And every single
God.
one, I told them, I didn't just move here, I just got a phone line. And the response every single person has had is to say, "Oh, okay," and leave. Like, they don't give a fuck that now that I'm not new in the neighborhood, they're just like already sick of me. I didn't even get a
Weird.
chance to tell them I don't want to be in their church. I just told them that I got a phone line, and they just disappeared. Like, they're disgusted with me too, I think, for
A
having a
couple people in
phone.
the chat said Dean friends.
Yeah.
Apathetic Aplomb says if you light a candle and say Dean 3 times in front of the bathroom mirror, he appears. Frontier Whiskey says, in a more serious tone, it's easy to laugh at all this crazy shit, but also remember that it's very possible that people that really need help or just friends are being preyed upon by a for-profit organization. That is also true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like. I genuinely think that that Scientology is,
Look at my sweet
is a
helmet.
pretty scary thing.
I don't know. I got a free copy of Dianetics.
Did you read it?
Yeah. Well, part of it. It's like a textbook. It's really not that interesting.
So it was worth it, is what you're saying.
I mean, I got free stuff. That's kind of worth it to me.
How many hours were you there total?
It was like a lot more than I thought it was. It was something like 4.5 by the end of that thing. It was a real long time. Like, it was like dark when I left, and it really freaked me out. Maybe they, like, keep
So
it
I've mentioned this on the stream before a long time ago, but like last year I read a really good book on Scientology called Going Clear. Highly recommended if you want a good nonfiction look at Scientology.
I just gave a non-fiction look at Scientology, y'all. Fuck that book.
Well, all right, fair enough.
This is it. Put this on a video, Dean.
It is on a. It's literally on a video right now.
It is.
Send this, like, take this video off of YouTube, put it onto a VHS cassette, send that shit to Dean, mail it to him, find his home address somehow, and mail it to him.
I did actually. I forgot. There is actually one more part to the.
Oh Jesus!
To the Scientology story is I got a DVD in the mail that said it was what the fuck was it called? I still have it. I'll have to go find it, but it's called like. What was it called? Like
The Ring, and it just had this like creepy girl on it.
No. It was like called like Psychology, the Real Killers or something like that.
Oh boy.
I don't remember what it was called. Nah, I'll have to find. I will find this DVD and post a picture of it on Twitter for everyone. But it's called something like Scientology or Psychology, Doctors of Death, or the Real Killers, or some bullshit like that.
Doctors of Death. Oh my God.
Yeah, they're real anti-psychologists there, and real mind-altering medicine. They really don't like weed either, because I asked them about that.
It's good that you.
Well, I mean,
that was important enough.
It was an important thing in my life at that point. And I said, well, what do y'all think about weed? And they're like, well, it's really not the best. Which is weird, because Xanax was like the fucking devil, but weed is really not the best.
That's where Dylan's like, hold on.
Wait a second here.
I can confirm to you that weed is in fact the best.
So anyway, I'm fighting these orcs right now. I don't even know where to go from that story.
When
Or
did you
it's a plot twist. Dylan is Dean, directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
Awesome. Well, as Oren points out, weed is dank. He's not wrong there, guys. Dean doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. So I don't know what's going on in this movie. Like I don't quite. Like I think we're looking for elf stones now. But I'm not 100% sure what.
Elf stones?
Elf stones. But
Yeah, I think we have like 1 of 4 or something.
Yeah.
A while ago, someone in the chat, I missed who linked it, I'm sorry, linked this Wikipedia article about the list of Scientology security checks, which is a thing that, one of the few things that I knew about Scientology. It's like kind of a, it's like a combination, what's the word? What's the thing? Confessional, and also like security clearance before you can ascend to new levels. And they ask you a bunch of questions. Some of the questions.
Oh my god.
Some of the questions are, stuff like, have you ever embezzled money? Have you ever been a drug addict? Which is a bad way to phrase that.
Yes,
Come on, guys.
and yes.
Have you ever murdered someone? And then they get into stuff like, have you ever had anything to do with a baby farm?
What?
Do you collect sexual objects?
What do you mean? Well, what do you mean by collect? Like, define collect. Like, I have some. I don't know if I'm a collector.
And then they just turn into, did you come to Earth for evil purposes?
Yeah.
Have you
And
ever
they told me weed
enslaved
was
a
bad.
population? Have you ever destroyed a culture? Have
Well,
you
they're all
ever made a
about-
planet or nation radioactive?
It's weird because have you ever destroyed a culture is something that the further along we get with Stream Friends, the more I feel like I'm almost to the point of being able to answer yes to that.
I mean, I really ate the shit out of some yogurt earlier. Does that count?
Nailed it. Perfect.
Thank you.
Uh,
Well, they're all about the like souls of dead aliens are like inside of people. So
Yes.
it would make sense that they would ask something like that. Well, in
Weapon
as
Boy
much as that
says-
makes sense.
As much as that makes sense. Weapon Boy says, my favorite job question was, are you willing to break the rules to get the job done? This was on an application for Future Shop. There you go.
This guy doesn't have any string on his bow.
Soltron says, have you ever destroyed a culture? Well, I'm white, so... Yeah.